All right, today we're going to be talking about Lesson 11-2, Congruence Criteria. This section is going to be split into seven sections. We're going to cover 1, 2, 3, 4, questions 5 and 6, question 7, and example A. Let's start off by looking at the beginning intro. As you've seen, congruent triangles have 6 pairs of congruent corresponding parts. The converse of this statement is also true. That is, if 2 triangles have 3 pairs of congruent corresponding sides and 3 pairs of congruent corresponding angles, the triangles are congruent. Greg's boss asked him to check that 2 triangles in a truss are congruent. Greg wonders, must I measure and compare all 6 parts of both triangles? He decides that this shortcut will allow him to conclude that 2 triangles are congruent without checking all 6 pairs of corresponding parts. Number 1, Greg begins by checking just 1 pair of corresponding parts of the 2 triangles. In your group, each student should draw a triangle that has a side that is 2 inches long. The other 2 sides can be any measure. Draw the triangles on tracing paper. B. To check whether 2 triangles are congruent, place the sheets of tracing paper on the desk. If the triangles are congruent, you can use the sequence of translation, reflection, and rotation to map one triangle onto the other. Are all the triangles congruent to each other? Why or why not? C. Cite your results from Part B to either prove or disprove this statement. If one part of the triangle is congruent to a corresponding part of another triangle, then the triangles must be congruent. Now remember, a counterexample is a single example that shows that the statement is false. I want you to take a moment to answer this with your table mates. Work through making sure you've created your triangle with a 2-inch length side, and the other lengths can be any measure you want. Sorry. And then make sure that you try to compare your tracing papers to see if y'all get a match. Go ahead and discuss this for about 5 minutes. As you can see, the answer to question 1B is provided for you. The reason I couldn't provide you with any others is because, well, this is something you would have to do on your own. And this is something that you and your table mates would have had to discuss on whether you could prove or disprove this statement. On to your debriefing question.